Hey guys, Tasha here from Scruffy Fam. So today we're going to be clearing out all of our spring stuff. They produced really well for us, but we've had some really high temperatures lately in the 90s, and then with humidity feels like 100. And so like the peas, they got a bunch of powdery mildew and just are starting to die off. The beets are pretty much done, and then we have some lettuce up front in the kiddie pool that is starting to bolt and go to seed. So yeah, we're gonna clear all those out first, and then hopefully we're gonna get some stuff in the ground today also, and we will take you guys along with us. So there's our lettuce. Usually we would harvest these a couple leaves at a time, because then the plant keeps producing as it gets taller and taller, and we just keep doing that until they finally die back. However, like I said, these guys are pretty much done. They're starting to get kind of tough. They're starting to get a little bit bitter. This still will be pretty good if we put them in a salad that's pretty heavily dressed with something. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. And the same with the kale. We usually would come out and pick just a couple leaves at a time. This one's not very good. But we will probably, we didn't get very much kale. Like I said, we got some bug damage and we had to come out and strip them down a couple times. They just didn't do very well this year. So what we're gonna do is probably just snip these leaves off and toss them in something that we're cooking. Maybe saute them with some eggs or something. Yeah, so this is our lettuce. We'll take it inside, get it cleaned up, and break down the individual leaves, and then we will go on to our main spring bed.
Alright guys, so we harvested all our lettuce that we had, and now we're going to move on to our spring bed here. We got to get these peas out, we got to harvest the beets. We're leaving the carrots for right now, but we're going to go ahead and get to this. Alright, here we go. Alright guys, so the next thing we're doing today is we're going to plant our 2 elderberry saplings that we got. The first one that I'm going to prep the area for is the Bob Gordon. It's going to be big, so that one goes like 8 to 10 feet. So we've cleared out the side of our house, kind of we're next to our driveway. There was a lot of perennials here that got really big, and they have really deep roots. So as you can see, we've got a lot of little green things here. I'm going to go ahead and get all those pulled out. I'm going to prep the hole, and I'm going to make sure that anything that's got some deep roots, I'm going to get out of there so they don't choke out the elderberry before it really has a chance to grow. And then once I do that, we're going to put a little cage around it just to protect it. We've got a big problem with chipmunks here and rabbits and stuff, so we don't really want them to get into it. And so here we go. So all I'm doing here is I'm going around where we're actually going to plant our elderberry, making sure there's no deep root structures that will be growing into it. There's a lot of ground cover and perennials here, so we pulled those, Elijah and I did. And as you can see, some of these just have long, crazy root systems, which if that's what you want, is a good thing, because these things will keep coming back when they've got this good of a root system. If you don't want them, it's kind of a pain to pull everything. You have to be persistent with it, but we'll get there. We're gonna start getting some other stuff in here. Our plan is to put berries on this side. So it'll be our elderberry and then some berries, either like Logan berries or Ronnie berries, something like that. So I'm just gonna keep going here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around the whole thing, about a 3-foot swath, make sure there's no deep root systems, and then we'll dig our hole, get ready, and then we'll get the next hole prepped, and then we'll get the elderberries in. This is why we clear out that area. This is one of the roots that have been growing right underneath where we were putting the Bob Gordon. Does not need to be competing with something like this. Alright, so this is the front of our house. And the ranch, which is about 5-6 feet, is gonna go here. Now I already spent a lot of time cleaning everything out of here. There was a yucca plant, and that thing was voracious and kept trying to come back. I think we finally got all of the bulbs out, so this is where the ranch is gonna go. Much quicker prep than what I just did with the Bob Gordon. So, all right, we got our holes dug. We are ready to go. Getting these guys in the ground. I'm gonna go get the mama, let her know. We'll get going. All right. Cool. First one's in the ground. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, moving on to the side of the house. Now we're gonna get our Bob Gordon in the ground. This guy is going to get big, so we want to make sure he got a lot of space. There was a lot of perennials over here, so there's a lot of disconnected roots now from Elijah and I really going to town on this the other day. But let's get this guy in the ground. All right, buddy. How you doing? Oh, hello. You got some good roots going on too there, bud. Good job.
Let's make sure all those are covered.
Yep. All right, so just like we did with our ranch, our Bob Gordon here is going to get a nice layer of compost all around him. just to give them that good nutrients, help them grow.
Every time.
Chipmunks.
Every time.
Cage, protect him from the chipmunks that we just saw.
You keep moving to not get your butt in the shot. And you keep moving your butt to be in the shot.
Okay. And you just water the backside, no flow, because it's downhill.
Hi guys, so we harvested our first round of beets today, and they aren't huge, but we did get a harvest, so considering they all started from seed, I will take it. So I think our biggest guy is right here, and then we have a bunch of little smaller guys like this too. But such is what happens. We had a harvest, so I'm thankful for that. I'm not going to complain. So first what we need to do, these all still have the greens attached to them. So I'm going to trim off the greens, scrub the dirt off, and I'm actually going to be making some pickled beets because me and the littles adore pickled beets. They're so good. We could eat a whole jar in one sitting if I let them. So we're going to work on those today. We're just going to do a quick fridge one because I have no experience with canning yet. We're not going down that road yet. So we're just going to do fridge quick pickle beets, but I am going to be using my Instant Pot to steam them because our house is really hot. We don't have AC, and I do not need a pot boiling for like half an hour on my stove. So we're going to use the Instant Pot, let that hold all the heat in, and I'm going to get started. So as you can see, most of these guys ended up a little bit smaller than I would have liked, but is what it is. So we are going to cook this on high pressure for 10 minutes. This big guy is probably going to take a little bit longer, but I might just have to do him a little bit longer by himself because the other ones will fall apart if they go too much past 10 minutes. So we're going to get this in the Instant Pot and get that going. So here are our beets, nice and steamed. So what we want to do next is let them cool all the way, and then we will cut off the tops and the roots, and then the skins should just peel right off. Alright, so now that these guys have cooled, what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the root and the tops, and then we're going to peel them, and it really just peels right off. And then this time, since so many of the beets are smaller, I'm just going to cut them into rounds. And then I have my little glass jar here that we're going to fill up. And so I'm going to do that with all the rest of them. And then the biggest one I might cut into slices. One thing that I wanted to mention as we're going through this process of trimming them and cutting them down and peeling them, beet juice stains, so you are definitely going to get pink and purple fingers. If that bothers you, you can always wear gloves, and that would actually give you a little bit of traction to help peel them. Not that it's difficult, but that's totally up to you. I honestly don't care, so I'm not worried about it. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is these beets did come from our garden. However, if you wanted to make this recipe, you can use fresh beets from anywhere. If you go to the farmer's market and you find some really beautiful beets there, or even from the grocery store, like, you're not limited to just beets that you have grown yourself. This works perfect for any fresh beets that you can find. One thing I do want to note is that the red beets, because they stain and they die so well, if you combine them with like gold or chagia, like the candy cane looking ones, they will stain them red. And one other thing I think I forgot to mention earlier, most of our beets today are the Early Wonder Tall Top variety. I think the seeds are from M.I. Gardener. The other beets were a blend that I got. I think it was Botanical Interest was the company that made the seed packet. And most of them ended up also being red beets. I don't know exactly what kind. Only 2 or 3 of them were golden, and I didn't get any chagias, which I was a little bit bummed about because I was really excited to cut into those. But there's always another season. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to make the brine that is actually going to be the pickling liquid that I pour over the beets. Okay, so here's our brine. Let me get this started here. Alright, so this is apple cider vinegar, water, cinnamon, clove, peppercorns, one of our onions, and I think, oh, sugar and some salt. I think that's it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this liquid to a boil, and then we're going to turn it off. We're going to take the cinnamon stick out and pour the brine over the beets while it is still hot. And then we're going to make sure that the whole thing cools down before they go in the fridge. You want to be really careful with glass jars that you don't put hot liquid into a cold place really quick. It's going to make the jar crack, and then it just spills and makes a mess everywhere. Had it happen, it really sucks. So we're gonna get the brine ready, pour it over the beets, let it cool, put it in the fridge, and then you can technically start eating this in a couple of hours, but it'll be much better after the beets have a chance to kind of soak in all those flavors for at least a day. And then because these are refrigerator beets, not canned beets, you want to make sure that you eat them up within 4 to 6 weeks. Alright, and there we have our beets in the brine. I tried to get as much of the onions up here in the top as I could because I am interested in seeing what those taste like pickled. But we are going to let this cool down, and then when it's totally cool, we'll put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow we will give it a taste test.
Eva, you like your beets? Very nice and yummy. Shiloh, what do you think of your beets? Yeah. Yum, yum, yum. Alright guys, hey, what a busy day. We got a lot of stuff accomplished. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get anything planted in the ground. This is a couple days later. As we got that stuff going throughout the day, it was just really, really hot and humid, and Tasha is 7 months pregnant with twins, so it takes a toll on you, be it outside that much and up and down and up and down. So we decided to take a break. We still have about a week to get things in the ground, so we're going to go ahead and do that here in a couple of days. And we're gonna harvest our potatoes around that same time, so we'll just record all of that for you guys later so you can see our potato harvest and planting our fall garden. Our fall garden is gonna be pretty limited because we're expecting the twins here in the next month, and we're just not gonna have the time to be able to go out and tend the garden like we would want to, but that's why we have next season. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that pickling beet recipe that Tasha did. Our kids absolutely love it. So give it a try and let us know in the comment section down below if you want the exact recipe. We'll put the exact recipe step for step in there for you. And Tasha has a blog called earthgrownbotanicals.com where she writes about all of the stuff that we have going on here at the homestead. So thank you very much for watching. If you guys like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit that little bell notification, and share it with anybody you think might be interested in people starting out brand new on an urban homestead, learning as we go along. So thank you very much, guys, and have a great day.